Welcome to this episode of YouTube where we've had some sub-zero weather, 25 to 27 below the last couple of days. And so a lot of people ask, how do the wolves deal with this? And certainly we have added extra food resources. So that means the wolves are dealing with it in a couple of ways. It's keeping them full and satiated, but it's also keeping them a little competitive. And that's Grizzer, who happened to take a deer leg that Denali charged him on, and Grizzer was able to actually possess that deer leg and keep it. And one of the benefits for these older wolves to have these kind of feedings is that there's so many more behaviors that are stimulated by having a deer leg or by having a beaver. The competition is just one thing, but caching and carrying, and Grizzer seems awfully proud to be carrying that leg around and to have won that little scuffle over that deer leg there. But it is one of those things that I'm seeing, I think, as a bonus for these colder weather, is that Denali, being younger, 4 years younger than Grizzer, he gets him stimulated. He keeps him moving, and I think that's very, very important in this cold weather. They've got a lot of beds. They've got a lot of areas where they can stay in the hay, but really to keep circulation and to keep the animals healthy, they have to move around. And so Denali, being younger, being a lot more stimulated, seems to be always on the move. He pays more attention to the exhibit pack because he can hear better. Grizzer's hearing is almost gone. At 16 and a half years of age, his sense of smell is the strongest thing that he's got. But you can see Grizzer just getting excited, kind of running around into the transition area. That is really helpful on these cold days. So it gets the blood flowing, keeps him moving. Little slippery. That's one of the problems with cold weather, is that everything freezes solid, including snow. But we are warming right now, so we went from 2 days cold to 2 days warm, and certainly we are seeing that movement keeps the wolves spry. It's certainly for Denali, like he just enjoys having that opportunity to play bow and prance and confront Grizzer, do a little bit of a whirl there. And Grizzer, again, because his sensory ability is a little bit limited, he's a little bit more cautious, but certainly he is interacting with Denali. We're always mindful of that. We don't want it to be too much for Grizzer, but Grizzer seems to hold his own. And like I said, it's keeping his cognitive ability very, very astute, and certainly something that we are not taking for granted at this age. Every day we have with Grizzer is a bonus. So over in the exhibit pack, we're feeding deer torso, so quite a bit more food than we had been giving them that opportunity again to compete over that resource. This is from the Explorer.org cam. Unfortunately, we had the audio off because we had wolf care out there that were feeding, so you don't get to hear the defense, but hopefully you can understand it by looking at the direct eye contact, the lip curl. This tug of war is part of that dynamics between a pair of wolves that are trying to feed again on one single resource. So that's been a bonus for us as far as wolf care, having a larger meal, having more to eat and more to cache, and be able to feed on that. And then by the next day, whatever's left of the carcass is typically shared in the bed. So having that cover hay is keeping their feet warm, and on these cold mornings, they have an opportunity to continue to feed on that carcass for several days before their next feeding. So that's kind of what's going on here. Just as a reminder, the last days to subscribe to the Wolf Care webinar are coming up. We close that subscription on February 1st. February 4th, we will have our first webinar at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be looking at winter dynamics, past wolves interactions, as well as our current members of the exhibit and retired pack. So hopefully join us for the subscription. You get a reduced rate by subscribing to all 14 Wolf Care webinars. These are not the biologist webinars that are offered by the center, just the 14 Wolf Care webinars. So check out the website and get more details about those subscription, and we will see you again.